Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Cotton Eye Joe. What am I doing? Hey guys, I'm Allie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a video I haven't really seen anyone do, and this was just an idea that popped into my head that basically, if something ever happened to my collection, God forbid, if all my books were stolen, why would you? If something would happen, maybe like a fire took out all my books, they just disappeared, we entered some sort of realm where I didn't own them anymore. Like if something happened to my collection, what 10 books would I rebuy to start back up my collection, basically? So this ended up being way harder than I thought it was gonna be. I was like, oh, I'll just look over my books, it should be easy, like I'll just grab my favorite. When I thought about it, there are just some books that have like a special meaning to me, and that became more important than just like, I just need my favorite book. And it came down to the 10 that I felt were most important to have in my collection. So if it came down to it, these would also be like the top 10 books that I would like take with me somewhere if I couldn't take my collection, like things like that. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing right now. Let's just get the first 7 out of the way. Harry Potter, there we go. Done. No, I am only gonna count one Harry Potter book, and this one is my favorite Harry Potter book, but I also think it was the first one that really got me back into the Harry Potter series. The one that I loved the movies the most. Like this was the book that solidified me as like a Harry Potter fan. The other ones were fun. I mean, I was a kid when I read 1 through 3 kind of deal, and I was really disappointed in the movies at the time because so much was left out. No boy, young Allie just did not understand how book adaptations worked. And this one kind of like relit that love for me. This was years after too. All the books have been published before I had like gotten back into the books. So for that, and you'll see that I have already repurchased it at least like 3 times, but that is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. So I would absolutely just have to have another copy of this. It's my favorite in the series. I love it so much. It is a thick boy. These have been well loved. I think this one actually, like, it might fall out. I don't know. They have been well loved, well read, and I actually own several different copies of these. I'm very excited for the illustrated version. That would probably be the one. Once the illustrated version comes out, it will replace both of these, and I would just want the illustrated version. I'm a Harry Potter nut, so you know, you was expecting it. Next, I am going with The Perks of Being a Wallflower. This book has just meant so much to me throughout my whole reading life. I read this as a teenager, and this was the first book that I ever felt extremely emotionally connected to, and I was like beside myself with how much I just connected with these characters and the things that were going on and things like that. And this book means so much to me. It is my most reread book in my collection. It is just one of my all-time favorites. It was announced that Stephen Chbosky is having another book coming out this year, so I'm interested to see. It's been 20 years since this has come out, so I'm interested to see, you know, what's going on there. But this is just my number 1 book. Like this just means so much to me. I mean, this was like the start of my reading journey. I mean, yes, I was reading as a younger kid, but this is where things just got serious for me, where I realized that I could see myself in a book. Like I just wasn't watching other characters live their lives. I was in this story kind of deal. So this was the first one that just really, really connected with me, and I would just have to have. Segueing into a little more fun one, I would have to have To All the Boys I Loved Before. Especially the first one. The first one, I remember picking this up and thinking, oh my god, this is gonna be so cheesy. And you're like, you right, it's cheesy, but it's so good. This is another story that I love to reread. It's my favorite go-to make me happy kind of book. So if I'm in a slump, I will turn to this. I also love the movie. I think it's a great movie adaptation. I actually watch the movie at least twice a week still. It is my go-to when I'm feeling a little anxious, when I feel like I'm on the verge of like an attack, when I'm feeling depressed. That is what I turn to, honestly. And the same goes with To All the Boys I Loved Before. I know someone might be like, do you really need that in your collection? Yes, I feel like I do. I feel like this book is just the sunlight in the rest of my depressing collection. It just means so much to me because this was like the first romance that I just like became obsessed with. This is when I knew what kind of romance I was looking for when I was looking for romance. Like, I really love that fake relationship and hate to love kind of deal. So I just love it. As simple as that. It doesn't mean anything extra to me. It's just so good to me and it makes me feel so happy. So do I need any other reasons? No, I don't, because it's my collection. This one might be a little more surprising, I guess, because it's a graphic novel, but that is Saga. This I know is a very popular graphic novel on BookTube. I feel like anyone who isn't a graphic novel reader will read Saga. The reason I would pick Saga in particular is because this is what sparked my love for graphic novels. I never considered myself like a comic book geek. I wouldn't even know where to start, and then somehow my channel has become known for graphic novel recommendations, and I feel like anytime someone is asking for graphic novels, point people to my channel. So I don't know when that happened, but as I saw it happening more and more, I realized that graphic novels have become such an integrated part of my reading. I have become a source for graphic novel recs, like a lot of them. When did this happen? When did I get this collection? When did I become a comic book nerd? I love it. This was the start of the journey. This was the first graphic novel that I realized that they weren't all just like superheroes, that there was much more other interesting things happening out there, that there were other genres in the graphic novel world, and this was just a door for me. And I mean, it's still one of my favorites. It's an amazing graphic novel series, so if I had to pick any, it would probably be this, just because it is the beginning for me. It is the start of that journey. It is the start of what so many people know me for. So thank you, Saga. Thank you for being that. I also have a crush on like every single character in this. How? Why? Why are they so attractive for like alien beings? It still just blows my mind that like people come to me for graphic novel recommendations. Like, it means so much to me at the same time, but like still blows my mind. When did I become this person? I don't know. Next is The Book Thief, and this is just one of those books that just sticks with you. It sticks with you for so long. It doesn't matter how many times that you reread it. It's impactful, and this is probably the book that solidified my love for like World War II historical fiction. I love the historical fiction, but specifically World War II, and this just really solidified it. It's also such a unique writing style. It's very poetic. It is slower paced, but it's just so brilliant and vivid, and it's told from the point of view that I'm not used to. It's told from the point of view of death, which is just so exciting. And this is just one of those ones that I've already considered rebuying. I know there's a different edition. I've already considered buying another one because this is just one of those books that just sticks with you. I feel like it's just also a very important part of my reading journey. Like, this is one of my go-to recommendations for people. Like, I feel like it doesn't matter who you are, you're going to be impacted by this story. If there's any, The Book Thief has to be that one historical fiction that I need in my collection. Next we have, there's so much cat hair stuck to my books from putting them on the floor. We have Six of Crows, and this is just, I couldn't not have this in my collection because this has my favorite characters of all time. I love these characters so much. Like, the storyline is so like backseat to me because the characters are just so amazing. Inej is my favorite female character ever. I love Inej. I love how empowering she is. I love that she knows what she wants. She doesn't want to settle. Like, I just love how strong of a character that she is, and she's just, it's empowering to read about her. Like, it just makes me feel like a stronger woman reading about her. But I love the friendship dynamics. I love how witty things are. I love how dark it is. Like, I just love this story. Someone's calling me. My butt is jiggling. Decline. This story is just, it's one of my favorite fantasies. I feel like I love knowing about the fandom. It's one of those ones that I would love to reread. I love these characters. I just couldn't have these characters like not present in my libraries. Next I have, this is just because it is one of my all-time favorite books, and I feel like I am missing a mystery thriller so far in this lineup, and that is If We Were Villains. This is just one of the most amazing books that I personally feel like I have ever read. One of my favorite mysteries of all time. I love that it has Shakespeare references. It's very poetic. It's vivid. I love the friendships that are happening. I love the plot twist at the end. Like, there's just so many aspects of this book that are just so perfect to me. And I mean, I've considered buying, because Book Outlet has this, so I'm considering buying multiple copies and like giving it out to y'all, because I love this book so much, and more of you need to read it. I don't think I've heard anyone talk negatively about this book yet. Books and Lala liked it. Y'all, I love this book. I would love to do a reread with like a mass group of people someday because of how much I love this book. I have no more words. Like, I cannot give this book enough praise. It's just my favorite, so there's that. Y'all probably gonna laugh at me for this one. You gonna hate me for this one. But you know, it comes down to the fact that this book has a mass following for a reason, and you can't ignore that. Okay? I know there's some haters out there, but you know what? People got different tastes. You're allowed to find the problematic things and still enjoy a diggity dang old book. So, with that being said, I would have to have this. Absolutely have to have this. This is by far my favorite book to reread. This is one of my favorite series. This one in particular, though, really solidified it for me. Anytime I feel like I am in a slump, this is the book that I want to read. It is such an addicting story. I love the complexity. I know you're going to be like, they're not complex, they're cardboard characters. I love the complexity of the characters to me. But I love this. As you can see, I have tabbed this up multiple times in my reading journey through this book. I have reread it a few times, and this is the book that I want when I'm in a slump. So how could I not get out of a slump if I didn't have this? Like, I love this fandom. I know that they're a little harsh sometimes, but there are good people in the fandom, okay? I know that the Dick Soapgate thing was a thing, but you know what? I wouldn't have been mad, honestly. It's really hard to describe a book that I love when I know so many people dislike it and want to make fun of me for liking the book, but it's just such an addictive book. I can't tell you enough how much this book has just brought me so much joy and sadness and anger. Like, nothing has sparked emotion in me quite like this book. Like, I just felt all the feels reading this book. I just love the characters. I love the romance. I love the sexy scenes, okay? It's a hate to love. It's got all my favorite fantasy elements. I just would have to have this in my collection. Just this one in particular. I don't even care about the rest of the series. The rest of the series is kind of not that great. Just this one. Like, I will just write a small summary of the first one in the beginning of this, and that is all that I need. This one alone. Which is weird, because this is the only one of the series that I don't have multiple copies of. I do have the whole series signed, though, so. Alright, I have 2 more left. And these books are probably the most important to me. I'm going to try not to cry at some point because of how much these books mean to me. And the first one is Mandy. Mandy is one of the first books in my collection. And my grandma actually gave this to me, which is one reason of why it means so much to me. As a kid, when I was reading it, I was like so envious of this girl who finds this cottage in the woods. I remember at the time, like, this was just my all-time favorite book. My grandma read it with me. We had like a little tea and book discussion, so there's a lot of memories wrapped up in this book on top of that. But this book means so, and to think that it's written by Julie Andrews Edwards. But there was just something about this. This book captures my spirit as a child, running through the woods, wanting to make a home in the woods with like the animals, like trying to live on my own. This book just captures that. I don't know, like, she was such a resourceful kid, which is what I considered myself. And the fact that my grandma gave this to me on top of that, and like she indulged me in these like mini book clubs and stuff, was just so cute. And like, my grandma and I still read. We don't read the same things. She would not like the things that I read. She is the reason that I am a reader. No one else in my family really reads. She was the one who took me to the library, signed me up for a library card. Look where I am now. I'm a librarian, so thanks, Grandma. It's just one of those books that just looking at it sparks so much nostalgia for me and so many memories, and I know that that's going to be a book that I cherish because it's something that my grandma gave to me. I know that buying a new copy wouldn't mean as much because it wasn't this original copy, but having a copy still would just mean the world to me at the end of the day. So, and then this last book, I can only explain it as being a book that basically is my life story on a page. When I was reading this book, I felt so extremely overwhelmed while reading it because it felt like my soul was right there and everyone could read it. And I was like reliving some of my own memories of feeling these things and doing these things and these things happening. When I read this book, it was just it was so tiring. It was emotionally tiring, but I knew it's because it meant so much to me. When I finished this, I was like sobbing my eyes out. I felt so many different things. It was such a complex feeling. It was like drowning while being saved. I just felt so many things while reading this, and after finishing it, I just remember crying and crying and crying for days after I finished it, and just these things like someone went through this. Someone wrote down these emotions, and I'm not alone anymore. And I never realized that I needed this book till I had it, and I remember once I finished it and I said all these things that I was feeling to Brian, he was like, if it's that important to you, I will read it. Which is so amazing to me because Brian does not read anything. So, that is the way I used to be. This was actually one that I picked up on a whim at Walmart because the cover was pretty. I went into this totally blind, and oh boy, I was in for it. It's hard-hitting. I know that there's gonna be people who don't like this book because it is not a typical sexual assault book. The character just things that are not likable after the fact that she has been raped. She does things that are unlikable, and she is finding ways to try to kind of control those feelings and figure out what she's doing and the things that are going through her head, and just trying to be her own person while also coming clean. Like, there's so many hard things happening here, and it was so good. I thought it was so well written. I love that it wasn't that typical, I don't know, just is quiet, doesn't talk to anyone, is afraid of intimacy. It's like the total opposite, and I love that it was such a different point of view of someone from a rape victim. So this book is just, it's so important. Please read this. Please. There we go. Those are the 10 books that I would have to rebuy if something happened to my collection. God forbid. Please, please don't. I love my collection. There's a lot of money here. Okay? Just in the shelves alone. I would love to see more people do this video because I love hearing about books that just mean something a little bit extra. Like, it's one thing to have your favorite book, but to have that book mean something more to each person. I think it's a nice glimpse into their reading journey. It's a nice glimpse into them as a reader, and the things that they like to read might not necessarily be the things they would want to rebuy. So I would love for more people to do something along the lines of this. If you've done something along the lines of this, let me know. I would love to check it out. So I hope you guys have liked this video. Don't forget to subscribe to see future videos from me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.